Hey everybody, here we got the Warhammer Armies, the Empire book. Yes, from 4th edition. This book came out in 1992. It's one of the first ones that came out for the game. So it was pretty much, you see it's pretty much pristine condition because I pretty much what I did was when I'd have a book, I would either like make a copy of what was needed in the book itself, and then it sat on the shelf the rest of the time. So all the pertinent information that was needed for the game, I would copy, and then go from there. All right, so there's my name in the front. And we got the information, pretty cool front cover, end card. We got the contents section of it laid out pretty good. A little bit of history of the Empire. Yes. I'd probably go into some Emperor style.
Yes, let your hate fill you with the Empire.
Yeah, I know it's bad. Then we have the basic showing out where all the different groups of the Empire are located, all the different ones inside the Empire where it's at, and the grand scheme of things. And over here it's like this is the little chunk of this whole world is the Empire. So basically sort of in present day, I think that's France. It's like Spain, France, Germany type thing, and here you got Africa and all that. Yes, it's I always felt that the fantasy takes place on a mirror image world of in the realm of chaos, basically the Eye of Terror, that area. And we have really good artwork in here. Your classic. The Emperor Karl Franz. There's a little hippogriff. They go to war with the Reichsguard underneath. Important events in the Empire. They laid it all out. Keslev Knight. Horse archer there. A little more history. What's lands. What's everything in it. There. And we have the special rules for the war machines. Yes, there's the rules for the steam tank, repeating handguns from the steam tank, but the war wagon. You see right there. Unleash a volley, man catchers. Here's the war wagon. Everything that's in it. You got the long rifle. You got the repeating handgun, the blunderbuss, man catcher, hook, halberd, ball, and chain. Yes, ball and chain. This guy must be married. Bad. I know. Hell blaster volley gun. Every empire must have a hell blaster volley gun. If I could get another one or two of those things, they're worth their weight in gold. If you had two of them, it's like one is none and two is one type of thing. Because one's usually going to probably misfire on you and blow itself to bits sometime during the game. And then the rest of it just goes from there. So, Hellblaster volley gun. And a halfling, hot pot. Never got one. I looked at the rules and go, okay, it's interesting, but I decided not to. Mortar's not bad. Leaves a nice little dent in anybody that's underneath. It's like D3 wounds, -4 save. Yeah, it's a quick way to wipe out somebody's heavy cav, especially when they're running. You're facing against chaos players with their chaos warriors with their 2 save. Yeah, definitely need something to knock holes in them. Rules for the great cannon. Never leave home without at least have one. Never got any flagellants. Never seen the whole idea of them just didn't appeal to me, so I never picked any up. Empire Tactics. Okay, the Fantasy Steam Tank. Yeah. I'm probably going to take mine, maybe mount it on a chariot base sometime in the future, make a little diorama out of it. It's like the war wagon is supposed to be on a chariot base. Someplace along the line, the base has disappeared. Yeah, how to reuse it. How many steam points you need to use. Some nice rules for it. All right, here we go. Empire Outriders and Knights of the Blazing Sun. Nice miniatures. Oh, it looks just like the ones I got. Alright. Imperial War Wagon. And that's like the War Altar. I should have got one when I had a chance, but at the time it's like, well, that thing's expensive and for what it does. I wasn't too enamored with it, but well, I should have picked one up while I was still in production. Okay, electric counts of the Empire. Heroes of the Empire. Halfling pot. Heavy metal. Start singing a song here. No, you don't want to hear me sing. Definitely don't want to hear me sing. As they say, you can't hold a tune in a bucket if you're standing in it. Okay, here we got the soldiers of the Empire, your different ways of painting them up. Lots of yellows and reds and blues are very popular, as you can notice. And a lot of my guys were all usually reds and blues, and yellows and blues. The Empire. Alright. Now, one thing I didn't mention is part of my dwarf force I have, I always could supplement in larger games my Empire army with advent of dwarves, throw them into the mix. And that's pretty much what I did. They made some nice little heavy infantry because their toughness. We get the army list. Basically your limitations. How many heroes you could take in a game. A max number of items available to them. As the bigger your wizards are, the more goodies they can carry. It's like they carry a bag of holding with all their fun stuff they carry. Alright. Equipment list, basic extra cost involved here. For extra point wise. It starts getting pretty expensive for what you get out of it. It's like you're talking 30 something points for heavy cav, but they got a 2 save, but it doesn't take much. All it takes is a 1 and the guy's gone. And it's just like taking Terminators in 40k. You can have as many Terminators you want, but all it takes is a 1 and they're gone. Alright, the General of the Empire, 100 points plus goodies. Typically you're running about 250 for your general after you add in all the magic items. The battle standard for the army is a must. And a couple of heroes to do interdiction runs. I always use the hero types. They're kind of a cheap troops to throw out there. If somebody attacks your unit, you got a hero to intercept their heroes and save your men from getting obliterated, because basically it was always hero hammer, put it bluntly. And you got your champions, unit champions, wizards. As they say, Mr. Wizard, don't leave home without me. Yeah, always take a few wizards. And then with the Imperium, they had 8 different colleges that you could take guys out of. So it was like, usually had the ones that would do frost and fire, and somebody to do protection spells and stuff. Alright, here we go. We have Knights of the White Wolf. You're talking 37 points apiece. Panther unit is 39. And here we go. The Reiksguard Knights, you can have a unit of them. and they're 39 points each, and the Blazing Sun are 39 points. So basically, you're getting a weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, which is right a placeholder because you never shot anything with them. Basically, their main weapon is their lance and their sword. The way they go in, but they have a 2 save, and they can have a battle standard. So you get 1 unit of those guys. Typically, if you have a unit of 10, you're looking at 390 points. So if you're playing a 2,000 point game, yeah, you're looking at a fifth of your points practically, or more, wrapped up in 1 unit of 10. That's a kind of a hard pill to swallow, but you know, they are the tank, fast moving tanks. They attract a lot of attention. So if somebody has any war machines, guess where they're going. And Pistoliers, Outriders, Halberdiers, Reichsguard. Like the unit of my Empire, I could have them is either Reichsguard or heavy infantry. And the Reichsguard will run around with a 4 save because they have heavy armor, shield, and swords. So, or just some type of melee weapon. Spearmen. Never used spearmen. I just never picked them up. I always had those halberdiers that would fill in the slot. But you're taking, give them light armor and shield. And then you're looking at a 5 save. And a 5 save really isn't a lot of save to begin with. Now, if you ever play 40k, it's the equivalent of a guardsman with their flak armor, and they just die horribly. Great swords are good for, they get, the double-handed sword gets some pluses on the strength, basically. But when they do hit, they chop high toughness stuff up. They're good for, if you're facing some trolls or stuff like that. Something with a high toughness. Yeah, they're kind of throw them in their way and an attack with them, and hopefully they get a few licks in before they disappear, because it doesn't take much to wipe the little buggers out. Swordsmen are my mainstay. I usually went with for my infantry. I usually had 1 or 2 units of these guys, and I have a 6 save. Give them a light armor or a 5 save, so they're running around 9 points. So it's not that bad. So, and then give them a banner and then some type of, put a hero type in with them to bolster them up. Handgunners were always nice. Just the fact that you had some ranged weapons along with your archers and crossbowmen. These are your, actually a lot of games, these 3 units were the ones that did a lot of damage with when I was playing. I do have those 1 light cav with a 4 save, and so I always call them the wing lancers, or my guys are light infantry or light cav, fast moving, so they have a 8 move versus the heavies, which slow down a little bit. And you got your horse archers. Never picked any up, though I could probably, most likely, if I could get some historical 28, 25 mil historical ones that like Mongols or something like that, I could probably create some Keslev horse archers for moving around quickly and laying down some fire. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of flagellants. Dwarves are when the games get a little bit bigger, I always toss dwarves in. Never picked up any halflings because, geez, their ballistic skill's great, but their weapon skill's not great, and their toughness and strength is too. So, yeah, they get squished pretty quickly. And ogres, I do have some ogres, probably with my orcs. So you could bring in some ogres with them Forgot all about those guys. War Machine, obviously a mortar is good, great cannons are good, steam tanks are good, war wagon is useful. Hellblaster volley gun is like first thing you always take in your army is take a Hellblaster, then pay for the cannon, mortar, and then the steam tank is optional. It's a good machine. It can do some good damage. And in larger games, I would bring in that war wagon. Halfling hot pot. No, it's cheap, but direct hit's a 5, and the rest of it's a 3. So it's like a mortar, light mortar. All right, then you have your extra stuff. You could always bring in. I always took in a chimera or two. I preferred the chimeras first, and then I would bring in something else. The dragons were nice, but they're expensive. And then typically I could throw a hero on a Pegasi or a Griffin or something like that to create a mobile force. There's a lot of times in a larger game I'd have a couple chimeras and throw a hero on one of those mounts and then send them out there so it was they could do a raid. I like using them to hit somebody's backfield with their war machines and stuff, take them out. Special characters, here you're looking at Karl Franz, 110 points plus all the other gear. It gets pretty spendy just for your guy, plus mount. And then we got Ludwig, and then we have the Grand Theologist. He was the one that was on the altar. Supreme Patriarch of the Colleges of Magic. Pretty spendy. You're talking 300 some points for this guy. But, you know, when you're talking a level 4 wizard, Mr. Wizard. And then you have the Reichsmarshal Captain Kirk Helborg of the Reichsguard. So he's got a chunk of change with him, but he can bring a lot. You're talking a weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 6. Not that it matters too much, but he's strength and toughness 4. And he's running around on a war horse with a 2 save. With 3 wounds, so yeah. A lot of times it takes a little bit of action on their heroes to do some damage to him. And then we have all the other guys, Vladimir von Rakov, Electric Counts. They basically have the counts of all the different zones, all of them. And then we have the Keslev Ice Queen. A little spendy, but she's a cold-hearted one. Yes, she is. Plus her special spells of ice magic. Start singing ice, ice, baby. Alright. Some cool artwork. Looks like some dwarves going to war. And obviously, hey, let's advertise everything you could add to your army. Alright. There you go. Good stuff. But the thing is, by the time I started seeing these miniatures hitting the shelf, when we started playing, I already had a large Empire army already built, so it was like, well, I'm not really interested in buying too much stuff for this guy. Alright, so that is the Warhammer Armies, The Empire. So, there you go. Good little book. Brings back a lot of nostalgia, going back of basically 5 years of gaming with this book alone, and along with my dwarves and undead and my chaos armies. That was pretty much my mainstay I usually played with. I did have the elf army, but I didn't play it as much as these other guys. All right, hope you guys like everything. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk with y'all later.